Ladies, I was walking around the house this weekend and I was taking a look at all of these projects that I had partially started but did not complete. Everything from getting rid of things to knitting projects, scrapbooking, all sorts of stuff. And I had a pause and I just thought, this is so interesting. This obviously like jazzed me at one point in my life, and I was like, this is something that I really want to do. And it made me wonder whether or not this is something that I would like to reignite in my life. Do I really want to finish this project? Or am I just finishing it for the sake of finishing it? And I thought of you two and just wondered, I wonder if my friends have any hobbies or whatever that you thought you wanted to do at one point in your life and it's kind of vacated, and every once in a while that thought floats through your head and you think, oh, maybe I should pick that up or do this or whatever. What do you think?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Oh
good. Like
yeah.
what?
So I would, when I was younger, I don't even know exactly when, but anyways, when I was younger, I loved to cross stitch. And I know that's not something that is readily you see in houses and, hanging and this and that. But in my travel back, I stop about 3 hours from here and spend overnight with a friend of ours. And she has they have a whole big fenced yard. So Mona gets to run around and, you know, stretch her legs after being cramped in the car for a couple days. And her house is filled with little crisscross, you know, momentums throughout the house. And it's a very cozy, warm home. Like I feel like I'm wrapped in a blanket when I'm in her home. And I'm like, why don't I just do that? Like, why don't I do it? And I find it very calming and very relaxing. And I don't know why. Like, and I think about it, and then everything else floods my mind. Like, and I'm looking at a piece right here too. Somebody had made one for the cottage. There. I just find them very I don't know, I find them like a blanket. I find them they could be very sentimental because I think the amount of time somebody has to do to work on it.
Hmm.
And if you're given it as a gift, that is like huge. And that is just something. And here's the thing, I think I always equate it with cold weather because you're inside and you have time and you're sitting and watching. Well, I'm not around, well, today I'm around cold weather, but in the majority of my life, I'm not in cold weather
Hmm.
anymore. So I think I can't get the correlation on it.
Do you think you'll ever go back to it?
Um, I'm not going to say no because I think I have to find the right piece that would inspire me to do it. I used to love to do it. I found it very relaxing
Hmm. Hmm.
and it made the time go by very fast because you're
Hmm.
so concentrated
Hmm.
on the stitch of what you're doing and your count. I think it would always allow me to disconnect from whatever trauma I was going through or toxic
Hmm.
that I was going through at that time. And there's sometimes now where I don't have that any longer. So then I don't think about it until I see it.
Hmm. Anything else
But
you think that you'd like to do? Has anything
me,
ever popped into your head? Yeah. I
I've
mean,
always wanted to try to make jewelry.
oh, cool.
Yeah, I've always wanted to try that. And I've even looked to see there are classes you can take and whatever.
Hmm.
Will I do
Hmm.
that? Maybe when I slow down.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. What about
Yep.
you, Tracy?
Well, there's a ton of things I wanted. but to actually get do them. My next one that I would really actually put effort in is like when I grew up, photography, you couldn't like to buy a camera was so expensive. And then all like any of the professional stuff. And I would love to teach myself how to actually take really good pictures. Like we're going on this, I'm going on a trip and I know what I'm going to come back with on my pictures. What I think I'm going to come back with is these amazing shots and my daughter and me and that. And what I'm going to come back with is a bunch of stuff that I'm going to look at and go, this isn't doesn't express our trip. And I would love to learn how to take those type of photos. Like it's not like the big professional, but just really understand angles and you're looking up or you're looking down. And take the time and effort because I have this phone in my hand or a camera in my hand now that could capture so much and I don't capture it the way I want to. So that is something I definitely have put over here. Like I want to put some time into.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that is so important, especially when you travel to be able to take those shots that are like
That
just
represent it,
incredible.
right?
Yeah, exactly.
Not just like, oh, that's a nice picture, but
Yeah.
represent that.
Yeah.
And I see other people, I'm like, oh my gosh, that looks so good. That
Yeah.
Yeah.
represents that moment in time we had, right?
There
Yep.
are some pictures though that they're like I don't care how good of a photographer you are, there's just absolutely no way you're going to capture what you're actually experiencing and viewing. Especially great big huge like landscape type things. It's just like they just start like consuming, right? It's just so much to take in. I don't think it's like people trying to take pictures of the Grand Canyon. It's like,
Yeah.
like there's just, I mean, there's something about being there and seeing it as, I mean, sure, the pictures are beautiful, but I just don't know if you can actually capture the heart of that
But
experience.
it's also with the people in it. And, I have
Yes.
friends that can capture those moments
Mm.
where, and it's just like, oh, that's an amazing picture. And then there's me taking this exact same picture, and it's like, well, that's a piece of crap, right? And I want
Yeah.
to understand the next level, keep
Right.
Cool.
pushing on the next level. And then anything in the past, I just look like if I haven't done it, I'm not going
Yeah.
back to it. There's so much new stuff always coming that
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
like I would love to learn how to sew, but I know how frustrated I got sewing. So I would never put myself in that position again because I hated it because I couldn't, my brain just wouldn't work
Mm.
well with it. I would love to make clothes. I would love to do all that. But I know I'm at an age that I'm not going to get frustrated over stuff. I spent 3 years being frustrated over something that I'd rather move on to something I can do.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, that's very important to know. And that's just, I mean, really good self-awareness, right? To go,
Right.
I know I would love to be able to do that, but like it's just not in my wheelhouse, right?
Yeah.
And
And
to
Yep.
walk
why am I
away.
forcing it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. What about you, Tracy? You said you walk around and you see things you started, but
There's things that I know that I just won't go back to, like scrapbooking. It's like, you know what? I mean, I uh I'm too much of a perfectionist
Mm.
to do that. And I get then caught up into the minutia of making it absolutely perfect instead of
yeah.
just getting it done. So it's like, I would never go back to that. Some of the knitting projects, I mean, I like knitting for exactly the same reason that you said, Michelle. Sometimes it's really just calming to sit there and just like knit
Yeah.
and whatever. I've always enjoyed knitting. And I've got some blankets and whatever that are, half done. So I might go back to those. I don't know. I guess if I was to do anything new, what I would love to do is I would like to go take a professional chef class,
Mm.
and really learn how to use knives properly, and really learn how to bake. I love baking. I particularly think that baking is an art form. It's not like cooking where you can just throw a dash of this and a dash of that, and it's very precise. Baking is very precise. So, yeah, I would love to do that.
Actually, that's something I would actually give to my kids. Like, can you imagine if you learned how to use knives in your when you were growing up so that your whole life you're really good at cooking because you learned some basic,
Yeah.
well, not basic, but some top
Oh,
level
Yeah.
skills? Wow, that's
Yeah.
a good one. I like that.
And it's so
yeah.
funny because I mean, I've wanted to do this for a very long time. When I was in my previous career, I'm much, much younger. I remember I was down at a job site and I was at lunch and I walked by this knife store. And it was this great big, it was this huge, huge store. And I walked in and I mean, of course, like you're completely overwhelmed and like, I didn't even know there were so many knives, first of all. And this guy was giving a demonstration on how to sharpen your knives on one of those, whatever those long stick doohickey things are. And I went up and I was watching him, and he said, "I want you to try it." And he pointed at me, and I thought, "Oh God, I don't want to do this." And it was the best thing I ever did because I know how to sharpen all my knives. And I always thought, wow, you know what? Like that was so easy to be taught how to do that.
Right.
Right.
Like, wouldn't it be neat to know exactly how to like, cut an onion in like 10 seconds and have it all perfectly diced? And I
Yeah.
mean, people do it, so, I don't know how to do it. I have my method, which is, but
It
I'm
gets it
not sure.
done.
It does get it done, but I'm sure there's a better way to do it. So that
Yeah.
would be a fun thing to do, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. I like that one too.
Yeah. I
Like them
think that's
all.
a good one.
Yeah. What about you? What kind of hobby or thing would you like to learn or go back to? Put it down in the comments. Let us know. Share this with anybody that you think would benefit from it. Make sure you give us a like and a subscribe, and don't forget to hit notifications so you know when our next episode comes out. Until next time.
Thanks for watching, and we hope to see you as a regular member of our community.